Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode
of Live,
Let,
Thrive. What is up, Myka, man?
I'm good, Stevie Stacks. How you doing?
I'm doing great in this wonderful episode 229 of your favorite Airbnb, VRBO, short-term, mid-term, long-term rental podcast in the world. Coming at you from Arlington and Fort Worth, Texas.
Let's go, man.
Have some fun today.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
How you been?
Man, I've been good. I was running a little late. I was actually talking to a potential seller. So I had to come back in, load up everything to get the podcast rolling. But everything's been good. How's things on your end?
ABB, always be buying, right?
Yes, sir.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Picking up, closing on a deal, closing on a purchase, also picking up 2 more arbitrages and picking up 2 more clients. It's just moving, man. It's moving.
Let's go.
Federico's going to get here soon from Argentina. So we'll put some gasoline on the fire. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Go.
And we have a special guest today. Enough about us, Myka. Mr. Alex Jarbo. Who is Alex Jarbo, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Alex Jarbo is a short-term rental developer and manager. He was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. He served in the Marine Corps for 4.5 years, where he was stationed in Washington, D.C., part of the Marine Corps Honor Guard. He left the Marine Corps at 22 years old to pursue his career as a real estate professional. He is the founder and CEO of Sargon Investments, and he has a goal of developing 650 cabins in the next 3 years. Alex holds an MBA with concentration in real estate development, and is currently finishing a doctorate in business with a concentration in leadership. He is the host of the YouTube channel Alex Builds, where he teaches the ins and outs of short-term rental development and management. Fun facts: Alex is a Guinness World Record holder and has been practicing street magic for the past 15 years, I assume, as a hobby. Welcome to the show, Alex.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, man.
Wow. First off, thanks for your service. He's the
thanks.
Guinness World Record holder.
What's that about? What's that all about?
Right up there. Yeah. No, my degrees are not behind me or anything. Just that. Yeah.
That's all that matters. You get a free Guinness beer with that. Lifetime supply of Guinness.
Yeah.
What is that about? How'd you get the Guinness World Record?
When I transitioned out of the military, I had a lot of free time on my hands compared to when I was in the military. I just wasn't used to that. So I remember when I was a kid, I used to go through the Guinness World Record book thing, and I always wanted to get one of them. So I just went on their website one day and I was like, what's the easiest thing I can do to just get and it's like, it took like 6 months. It was like the furthest distance to roll a coin. So my buddy had like a gym, and it was like he operated a gym, but there was like this long concrete stretch that I just like whipped a half dollar down and just videotaped it with a couple friends. Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so how does that work? Because I don't know. I hear people, you have to call them and get them to take the video. What happens? How do you get that?
So like you can go on their site and just look up every record, and then from there, like you can just choose one, you apply for it, and then you just send the video over. Each one has like their own little requirement and stuff. So you just send them the video. You don't need that person in the suit there with everything, but yeah, I just sent it to them and then waited like 6 months to get a yes or a no, got a yes, and then they sent me the cert right after that.
So Michael Jordan listens to our show and he's going to beat your record just because he can. That's what he does.
Totally.
It's everybody's record. So, man, welcome to the show.
Detroit, he's not fond of that guy. No, man.
Bad boys.
Bad boys.
So tell us about how you got your start in this whole real estate game.
Yeah, guys. So like last year of my enlistment in the Marine Corps, I decided I didn't want to re-enlist. So I just started reading up on a lot of real estate a lot of business books in general. And then real estate had really caught my eye just because I enjoyed the control you could have over it. I was mainly reading like BRRRR, flipping books and stuff. Yeah. So I'd originally joined a flipping mentorship while I was still in the military, and the gentleman who was running that flipping mentorship, we were doing like a group coaching call once, and he had mentioned that most of it, this was back 2015, 16, but most of his long-term wealth was tied into short-term rentals. And that sort of like perked my ears a little bit. So I had gotten him on a one-on-one call right after that. And he was pretty open with his numbers to show me his cash flows and stuff. And they were ridiculous compared to like some of the long-term rental stuff that I was looking at, or even the multifamily stuff. And so he helped me choose a market. I was like, I'm really open to moving anywhere after my service. And he taught me how to choose the right short-term rental market. And that's where, so like the day I got out of the military, moved straight to Asheville, where I currently live right now, and just got my real estate license and just started looking for a property for myself. And what I realized really quickly at that time was everything was either way out of my price range, or it was in my price range, but it just wouldn't have done well as a short-term rental. There was nothing unique about it. There was no draw. Maybe it would have done well as like a long-term rental, but not necessarily a short-term rental. So after looking for like 6 months, I was a couple offers that we submitted that didn't get accepted. I decided to build my very first short-term rentals, like ground up development from nothing. That was my very first real estate investment. And that one was an 800 square foot cabin that we own to this day. Or it was an A-frame, and then 1 turned into 2 really quickly, 2 turned into 4, but brought on some investor capital. And today we're developing over $10 million in short-term rentals. And I'm hoping to triple that next year.
So I like what you said, man. You couldn't get anybody to accept your offers. You're like, I'm going to build my own damn house. I love that. So what made you think you could do that?
And that people ask me that, like, what made you think that was going to work? And I tell them, like, I didn't know it was going to work. I had backup plans. Like, I had underwritten it as a long-term rental. And then also there was an exit in there as well. Like, I could just sell the property if it didn't work. Everyone's always looking for some sort of affordable housing, and that square footage range would have fit that. But yeah, originally I didn't know if it was going to work or not. I was just building a really cool property, and I was like, if it doesn't work, it's still going to cash flow some money if it's a long-term rental.
Yeah. Okay, your turn.
No, I was going to ask you said your mentor taught you how to choose the right short-term rental market. How do you choose the right short-term rental market for people that are looking to get in?
Yeah, so for people who are looking to get into it, when you read, so I'm a writer for BiggerPockets. I write for their short-term rental blog. And one of the things, the question that I always get is that, well, how to choose a short-term rental market. In the any real estate book you read, they recommend when you're first starting to start in your own backyard. And I sort of recommend that for this as well. And it might not necessarily be your direct backyard, but the way I develop unique short-term rentals. And I recommend putting them in more rural settings. And what that means is every single person, no matter where you live in the United States, there are these pocket markets that are within an hour to 2 away from you. The 2 extreme examples I give is like people who live in New York City will drive up to upstate New York to stay like an extended weekend vacation. And then people who live in San Diego will take an extended weekend vacation to say like Big Bear Lake or whatever. So you want to ask yourself, where in my market or where close to me within an hour or 2 do people in my city like to take an extended weekend vacation to? And that's probably the market you want to be in. 1, real estate prices are probably going to be a little bit cheaper where you live if you live in a metro market. And then 2, you can put like an A-frame or some sort of unique property that's unique to that specific landscape wherever you are. And I guarantee it's going to do well.
Yeah. I love that, where they want to take an extended vacation. So now,
extended weekend vacation. Another thing I've written for BiggerPockets was like this. I personally don't think you can ever go wrong with the strategy of investing close to a national park or a national forest, because there's an insane amount of foot traffic going through every single one of those parks.
Man, I got a few outside of Yellowstone. They never miss, man. They never miss.
Yeah, man.
Where's your A-frame at?
It's in Asheville, and then we're building like 6 more of them, 6 different ones. Yeah. So we do like log cabins, A-frames, cottages. We're playing around with tree houses. It's just hard to get financing on them.
So going back to, like, I like what you said. You know, when I asked you the question, how the hell did you know you could do, you could build a house, and a lot of people told you it was a risk, and here's what was cool. Your answer to these people thinking it's a risk is like, if anything, I could just sell it, or I can, rent it out as a long term.
Especially when you're operating in that square footage, like under 1,500 square foot, there's always a need for houses at that size, always, no matter what the market's doing.
But it's like me and Myka. I mean, well, Myka was able to retire through real estate, and I'm on my way out too. But it's like people at work, like, man, I just too risky. I wouldn't, I can't buy right now. Prices are this or that. I mean, how could you buy a house and what happens if no one rents it? Like I'll sell it. I don't know. It's just to me, it's just like
Yeah.
it's not much of a risk. You can get someone in there. People are always looking for places to rent. If it don't work out as a short term,
no matter what interest rates are doing right now, there's still a shortage of inventory.
Exactly. And I'm like, if anything push comes to shove, I'll just sell the damn thing. They act like I'm just gonna make $0 if no one rents it. Nah, it doesn't work like that, man. It's more of a risk to not do nothing in life and just rely on a job to take care of you and your family, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like Jim Rohn says, man, investing's risky. But what's the bill for not investing? That's yeah. Jim Rohn. Yeah. So yeah.
So how'd you become a writer for BiggerPockets?
I was connected through them. They had done a redesign of their website, and I think they were trying to push out more content. And I got connected a couple years ago with Paul Moore. He's in charge of Wellings Capital. I think he wrote a self-storage book for BiggerPockets, and then he had written a couple books before that. But him and I had become really good friends a couple years ago, and he sort of took me under his wing, and he's in the syndication space, and he had sort of just helped me understand how syndication works and the different moving pieces to that. And I had let him know originally I was trying to get on the podcast, but it was way too early for me to even do that. But he had reached out to me. He's like, hey, they're looking for a short-term rental writer. And I got in contact with their editor. He interviewed me, and then it turned out their editor lived 3-4 miles away from me. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I sent them the first article as a test, and then I think 40 or 50,000 people read it in the first day. And then ever since then it was pretty consistent. I think I've done 9 or 10 for them at this point. I try to push one out every 2 or 3 weeks.
That is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
It's great exposure for you and your business as well, I reckon.
Yeah, and I learn a lot off of I learn a lot about the short-term rental market based off of the questions that are being asked as well.
You trying to write a book?
I have one in the works, but it's like a small ebook. I haven't decided on what I want to write. I think short-term rental development, I would need 4 textbooks for something like that. But yeah, I'm in the works of writing one right now. I just don't know when I'm going to finish it.
Cool, man. One thing I hear it a lot, and I kind of know what they are. The A-frames. Can you explain what an A-frame is? It's not a cabin. It's an A-frame. What is that?
Yeah, and those terms tend to be used interchangeably. Just think of literally a house that doesn't have walls in its entire roof. Think of an A. And for some reason, they do really, really well. I'll give you guys the example. I built that first one with the land acquisition. I got a loan on the property, but with land acquisition, with furnishing the property and developing it, so turnkey, it was about $250,000. And that property grossed about $82,000 last year, and it netted after debt service and expenses about $46,000. So I think I'd put in maybe 30 to 35,000 into it. So my ROI, I have no investors on that one, but my ROI on that one's been over 100% every single year. Yeah. And that one does better than some of the log cabins that we've purchased close to $900,000.
Holy crap.
When I say to people, it's okay, how do I choose a unique property? I like to say Instagrammable properties. You just go on Airbnb's website on their homepage, put in your city address and see what are the top properties that pop up in your market, and then model those designs. There's nothing wrong with having 2 A-frames in the market. When I started, there was only one other one, and now there's 12 of them, but it hasn't affected my occupancy in any way.
I love how you said that, because we interviewed Peter Bayhuth a long time ago, right? He was one of the first dudes with the treehouse. I think he might still be the most wished for Airbnb. Might not be anymore, but basically he was one of the first people to really do the treehouse. He has the big treehouse in Atlanta. And ever since then, everyone's doing tree houses, but it's
right. There's 12 in my market. Yeah,
exactly. And it's a huge thing now, and people are making killer money doing that, man.
Yeah. For your listeners and for you guys, the best way to do a tree house is essentially to put the house on stilts. Imagine a house over the water and on the coast or something. And if you look at most tree houses that are built today, for short-term rentals, they're on stilts and then there's trees around them, or maybe there's a tree that goes through the deck, and you can get financing through a normal bank like an SBA loan or something if you go that route. And in my opinion, it's the best. I always think about like optimizing square footage so you're not wasting any space, especially with how expensive things has gotten with trades and materials. I mean, those tree houses, 500 to 600 square foot, even if it costs $400 a square foot to build, which is relatively expensive, $400 to $450 a square foot. I mean, those are bringing in anywhere between $300 to $600 a night easily. So it's like that is like, if you read the book that Brian Chesky wrote, one of the co-founders of Airbnb, he said the most popular thing to put on Airbnb is a treehouse.
Wow, I believe it too. Because I remember, Peter Bayhoof was all over that. He's like, yeah, man, I just didn't think it would do all that well, and it just took off. Like he said, his treehouse was booked so much. In order for him to stop taking residents, he has to shut down his calendar. He goes,
no way.
Yeah, he has to literally shut down his calendar. He goes, I can be booked every single night of the year for $300 minimum a night. He goes, he was like, dude, I have to like just shut down my calendar, because he does everything himself. He basically turned it into an experience where people come and he gives them like a tour of it. And so,
awesome.
Yeah. And he turned it into an experience, and he's like, I have to shut it down for it not to get booked. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So now when you're doing like short-term rental development, like when do you sell them as well?
I don't. I mean, they're all, with my investors, they're all long-term holds. Yeah. So like, we're in it for the long play, man. Like my investors know that we're going to be married for at least 10 years. So
okay. I was going to ask.
We don't sell any of them. I mean, we've done a couple cash out refinances. I don't need 100% of the money. So it's like, we just take cash out refinance and move it into the next deal.
So on the cash out refi, what kind of financing is available for like a short-term rental, A-frames, things like that?
Yeah, man, when I first started, there was almost nothing. So when I first started, I did a second home construction loan, and they were fine with me using it as an Airbnb, quote unquote, as a second home. And there are some rules around that now. But at that time it was completely fine. I think it was like 10 or 15% down. Now, there's a lot of really good lenders that will do like new construction on Airbnb. So all of our properties are permanent foundation stick-built houses. Stick-built, some sort of custom, which means like they get certificate of occupancies, which means you can sell them to a normal person and they can get financing on them. So we build them with full kitchens, full bathrooms, like a normal house. There's a really cool design attached to each one of them. And right now there's a lot of really good lenders. Just off the top of my head, Center Street Lending, Host Financial, and Vizio Lending. I've used Host Financial and Vizio both, and I like Vizio, but I forgot which one doesn't do construction. But there's enough short-term rental financing out there. And then also, I mean, just local credit unions. I don't know about new development, but local credit unions are open to stuff like this. And a step above that, so what I'm doing now, the best use of my time is to develop anywhere between like 6 to 12 cabins in these cluster developments. So we put like a theme behind them, whether it be barn dominiums, tree houses, A-frames, log cabins, something, and we'll build 6 to 12 at the same time on like 15 to 20 acres. And you can get SBA financing on that. We're just about to close on SBA financing on one of our first ones. New construction, new development from ground up, land, everything.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing that when you say you get like some acreage and then you want to put like 15, 20 houses or tiny homes or cabins or whatever it is, right? I guess I don't know if it's just around here in like North Texas area. A lot of places they don't allow you to build like smaller homes on them. Do y'all have those regulation problems up there?
Yeah, there are, and I'll tell you the way we got around some of those minimum square footage requirements is we'll say if it's 4 acres, just to keep it round. So say if it's 4 acres and you want to build 4 cabins, there are minimum square footage requirements usually in a city or it's in the HOA. Most of the times I want to invest if it's in an HOA anyways, but if it's in the city and there's minimum square footage requirements, the way you get around that is, and this isn't breaking the rules, it's just getting around it, it's the gray area, is you would take that 4-acre plot and you're trying to put 4 houses on it, you would split it in half and you would do a primary and an accessory dwelling unit. Primary, accessory dwelling unit, ADU being the mother-in-law suite. So for us, it's usually like a 14 to 1500 square foot house, and then there's a mini version behind it. And then same thing on this side, big house, mini version behind it. And then that way you have 4 units, but you just got around the minimum square footage requirement, and you just built for like 2,000 square foot per. Yeah.
Those ADUs.
Because in the eyes of the county, that's just one address, or it might be 2 addresses, but it's on the same parcel. But in the eyes of a short-term rental, it's 2 units. Yeah.
You just hit a huge, like, people who are listening, man, what he just said is actually a really gold bar. Where America's going is ADUs.
Man. I did an entire YouTube video on them, and that's how a lot of people start. They're like, I got some room in my backyard, I'll build something back there. And then I know that's how Rob got started.
Yeah.
He built an ADU in his backyard, and then that turned into what it is now.
I was gonna say, my mentor, I'm wearing his jacket, Thatch. He is big on ADUs. He goes, if you want to buy something with an ADU. But in Texas, they haven't evaluated ADUs yet. But in other places like the North Carolinas, you can evaluate an ADU, and man, it's crazy.
We purchased too. So like, we'll purchase if there's some land attached to it. So if it's like, we just purchased a big log cabin that has like 4 acres attached to it, and then we're just building ADUs next to it. Like, because in some zoning districts, you can build multiple ADUs attached, like multiple mother-in-law suites.
You know what was crazy about that is back in the, I wouldn't say older days, but a little bit older days of Bigger Pockets. David Green said he's David Green, the host. I see the appeal of these ADUs, and maybe in a place like LA where there's hardly any, there's no supply. Yeah, you can get away with it, but I just don't like how you can't get a loan to pay for these things, and what your cash on cash return is smaller because you have to pay out of your pocket to build one of these.
Now you can use renovation loans to build those detached ADUs.
And refi them too.
You can refi out, and then if you don't want to reset your interest rate right now, you can just take a HELOC and then just build that second one.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, EUs are a major play in the U.S. right now. Arizona, all in those areas, that's a killer play right now.
And then imagine your resale value too. I mean, I know I've looked at my numbers. Like, it's just like you just added another house behind your house. Like,
I had a friend build an ADU in his backyard. He was all in at $500K. The appraisal came back at 1.5 mil just because.
Yeah, dude, that's how we were. That's insane.
Insane, like, dude. I was like, what?
We purchased for like 850 on a cabin, massive cabin, and then we built that ADU, and then the appraisal came back very similar at 1.435. Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah, so the renovation to build that was about just under $1 million for everything. So like we created like close to $500,000 in equity.
Yeah. We're in the wrong business, Myka.
Hey, I'm trying to get into that ADU business. I've been on that for a while. It's just Texas doesn't do the ADU thing yet. It's coming though. It's gonna come.
You're throwing so much at us so fast, and going back to one point. No. We love it. We love it. I'm writing it all down, so I'll get back to it, most of it. So what you said earlier was really cool. You said just go on Airbnb, find something you like. You mentioned like a tree house or a cabin in a certain area, whatever, and then just see how good it's doing and the reviews, and then do one also. I mean, and it's funny because the other day, and if you get on Airbnb, the front page, it's all these unique,
and you got the tabs Airbnb. Now you can just run through the tabs and see what catches your eye. Yeah.
So when the one just jumped out at me was this one in Marfa, Texas, right out in the desert, and it looked like such a cool freaking, it's one of those where it's just like glass windows all the way around, right?
Yeah.
And then everything opens, and so your bed is like just looking out the freaking beautiful mountains and stuff, and the whole thing opens, and then it has like a big metal roof covering everything, so you got a lot of shade. And I was just like, and I went through the pictures, like, man, it just tells such a cool story. You see the sunsets, the sunrises, it's 360 views, just all glass all the way around, And I was like, I want to build something like that. I said, I wonder if that's as expensive as building a house. Probably not, maybe, I don't know. But I was just like, I didn't see a bunch of them out there. Like, I guess those kind of buildings were popular. Oh, it's all 100% solar too. Those were popular in Joshua Tree. I guess that's when they started, like those kinds.
Yeah, the big one is what they started on that one.
Yeah. And so I'm like, man, I don't know nothing about Marfa. It seems pretty cool. A lot of hipsters going there now and doing.
You check it on AirDNA or Vrbo, and you're like, oh, and it's making that much.
He charges over $500 a night, and he's booked all the time. I'm like, holy crap! It's like a 2-bedroom one bath, like a glass house, you know, with the roof over it. It's just out in
Yeah.
the middle of the desert. Is making over 500 a night. I'm like, holy crap! It is beautiful, but I mean, like I said, it tells a story.
So like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like you're building. I think that's where short-term rentals are going to be going in the next like 5 to 10 years, is like these Instagrammable properties where the property itself is an experience outside the city that the guest is visiting. That also, it makes the property less seasonal because people are just drawn to the property compared to the market. And another thing is like you want to build properties that people are proud to put on their social media, because that opens you to a completely different world of like influencer marketing. Like we've put influencers through all of our properties so far, and they're just remarketing it to on their social media. And I think of my days, like each cabin has like as inventory, like each cabin has 365 days. That's my inventory. If my average daily stay is 3 days, like averaged across all my guests, I only got to bring in 120 guests a year. So it's like, imagine if like an influencer with 300,000 followers on Instagram goes in that property, shoots some stuff for me and posts it on their social media. 300,000 followers here, 120 guests here. It's like, it's going to get booked easily.
I love how you did the math right there, man. And you broke it down. It reminds me of what's her name? Ziona McIntyre went on the Bigger Pockets show the other day, and she was like, you know, they do midterms, you know, and she broke it out the same way, you know, 3 month, 3 month rentals, and so I only need 4 guests a year, and I was like,
that's it.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. You know, it's just like the way they broke it down. Okay, I'm only after 4 guests a year. That's it. That's all they need to make a major profit each year.
Yeah, so it's like if you have like 12 of them, you need 30 something. That's nothing.
It's nothing, right?
Yeah.
You make a good point about like where it's going, because like you guys just said, you can get on Airbnb now and just click what you want. Like you can click a mansion, like, hey, I want mansions.
Yeah, right. I want a castle. Yeah, like
you want a castle. It's, and I do think if you're planning like on just being on Airbnb, you should definitely invest in like one of these types of unique type of stays, because that's what they're catering to, man. And like these people are charging $1,200 a night, you know, for a mansion, you know. So, you know, that's definitely where the wave is going. I fully agree there.
And if you've seen the when you're setting them up, you know, we were walking through a new client, you know, they wanted to show us how to set up their listing and all this stuff. And I hadn't been on one of these calls in a while, right? Now I was hopping on, I was like, holy crap, the amenities list is like 100 different things now. And one of them was like a indoor ice rink, indoor basketball court.
Oh,
I mean,
you're talking about like when you're setting,
when you're setting it up, I'm like, I said, and then Federico, you know, he's usually the one that set my business partner. He's like, oh yeah, you know, every time someone does something new and unique, they add it to the amenities list, and I'm like, this thing is insane.
I remember when I used to coach students like 3 years ago. So I'm a part-time coach for the B&B Formula, which is like a big rental arbitrage coaching community, and when we used to set those properties up or help them set up the properties for the students, I used to say, like, just try to check off as many amenities as you can, because it's going to help your listing more. But I don't even say that anymore, because like you said, there's like 100 and something amenities. That's just going to overwhelm someone if you're trying to every little thing.
It's funny you say that, because if you you know, Vrbo is actually catering to that now. So I'm a host. I'm on Hostfully, and I have the integration manager, and he goes, hey man, you should, because I had never really just went through and looked at all the amenities, but he goes, hey man, I'm going to be honest with you, Vrbo, you know, he works for him. He's like, Vrbo, we're catering to people that have most of the boxes checked. He goes, so you have your VA go back through and check all the boxes that you have. He goes, that's what we're catering to. And he goes, you'll get way more reservations. So yeah, man, on Vrbo, that's all they cater to. Hey, check the boxes, then they'll start pushing you up the rank. Airbnb now, you're right. Click whatever you want, and the most beautiful thing you've ever seen will come up. So yeah, it's crazy. You always got to pay attention to where these search algorithms are going, so you can be ahead of that curve.
Absolutely.
Now, do you do a lot of direct bookings or mostly Airbnb?
Yeah, man, I knew that's where the conversation was going to go. So 6 months ago, a year ago, we just had like some issues with Airbnb with one of our properties, with like a guest lying about something that didn't happen. And that was sort of like the first time where I started thinking about direct bookings, because it's happened to all hosts. And especially what we were just talking about, Airbnb's platform, Airbnb completely just changed their algorithm in the summer. Like a lot of people were caught off guard. We went from like being fully booked out to, they're starting to change it, but they did. I mean, for sure they screwed up the algorithm a little bit, and I'm pretty sure they know they did that, because like they're finally starting to backtrack on it. But we started really working with Mark with Boostly to build out a direct booking platform. I was just on his podcast last month, and we're doing it on we're purchasing 7 cabins. Like, yeah, there you go, man, hell yeah. But yeah, we're working with Mark to put together like just a direct booking site. And then Jordan from StayMO, actually, we just hung out last night. He was at one of my properties. He's in charge of like the influencer marketing platform thing, and that's sort of our strategy going forward now, is like utilizing influencer marketing and then pushing people through direct bookings. And I mean, the easiest way to do it is just use StayFi. Like, have your guest, yeah, man, do freaking check, right? But like, literally, I tell students, you need to be looking at Airbnb and VRBO as just a marketing arm to your business. It is not where your property should live, because if you look 10 years ago with like Google and everything, when Google changed their algorithm, the big Google slap like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, a lot of people in the internet marketing world got screwed. And I think of that when I think of Airbnb and VRBO. They could change one thing like their algorithm, say like just like what just happened in the summer, and a lot of people can be left out to dry. So we use Airbnb and VRBO to bring the guests into our property. We use StayFi to capture their contact info. Like one of our log cabins sleeps 14 people. It's like a 5-6 bedroom cabin. And then we're going to be remarketing to them through a Boostly site from there. And that's our strategy going forward. And then since we have unique properties, we can bring influencers through our properties and push them to a direct booking site from there too.
I love it, man. I have my Boostly site, and it's been, man, a game changer for us. So
yeah, I was gonna switch over to Streamline as a PMS, and then they pushed me towards Hostaway. So that's what I'm gonna be using from now on.
So you touched on something that I'm not even. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't really dove into it too much. It's influencer marketing. How do you utilize influencers to, like I said, get the eyes on your property?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to do it. The easiest way is to just take your listing photos and send them to, like, take your best, say your cover photo or your best listing photos. And you can go on Instagram and just start looking up cabins or Airbnb and short-term rental pages that have anywhere between 20,000 to say 100,000, 150,000, and just ask to pay for a post, $50, $100, $150, and then give them your best images, and they'll feature your cabin, your property on their sites. That's the easiest way to do it. The other side is using StayMO, or you can just reach out to influencers directly. StayMO is easy because it's a community that they've built, and they vet all the properties and they vet all the influencers as well. But you can pay for some travel. Some of them, the higher end ones, you're going to be paying a little more, but a lot of times you're just paying for their travel, and you're giving up your days that weren't going to get booked anyways. Talking about like a Tuesday through a Thursday, or like a Monday through a Thursday. You're giving those days to them. Maybe they weren't going to book in the future, and then they're coming in and they're shooting content for your property. So like, you're not paying for that, and then obviously they have rights to their content, but then you can share it on your social media. They're going to share it on their social media. If they have friends, like how Jordan does, they'll bring in a whole bunch of people into a bigger property and just do like one big like media push essentially. And I think that is one of the keys going forward, is like having people like reviewing your property to their communities essentially. Yeah.
Wow.
But so those are the 2 legs of influencer marketing. You can do it. I think Instagram is the best channel to do it through. You can do it through YouTube as well if you can get someone who's good with long form content. Instagram's the easiest in my opinion. You can just pay for a post, or you can have an influencer come through, pay for their stay, have them stay at your property, and then they can just remarket or market to their platform or their community.
It must be nice being an influencer, man. You go around the world, and not only do you stay for free, they pay you to stay at their places.
Yeah, I was talking to Jordan last night, because my investor on the property he stayed at, he's local, and we took him out and his friend last night, and we were just talking about the platform. And he's like, they have some influencers that just live in a van, and they'll literally just like boom, 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 like throughout the whole country, like just knock out these like big like shoots. So like they'll like stay here for 3 days, stay here for 4 days, and their job is essentially just to shoot content for their community. And
wow.
It's a win-win for everyone.
So are influencers? I see. I don't know a lot about this industry. Are they pretty much just all hot women, hot girls?
No, I mean Jordan's a dude. But like
is he a hot
no,
dude?
it's like because you have like people like shoot, I
Logan
forgot his
Paul.
name. Well, Mike, but I forgot his last name. Mike Will Travel. You have Levi Kelly. Those are the two big ones. Those are on YouTube.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's a mix of everything. And it's when my wife and I went to Tulum Beach last year, that's like influencer central, but it's like annoying influencer central. Like they're just like these children or these misbehaved adults essentially. So when someone says influencer, that's the first thing I think about is what I saw in Tulum. They're not like that. It's like a lot of these are like mature influencer. They're just travelers. And they're really good with their content. And again, like what I like about StayMO is they vet all of their people. So like you can't just go up and just sign up the way you can Airbnb. Like you need to submit an application either as a host or as an influencer, and then they'll approve you or not approve you.
Man, it's funny because going back to, yeah, it's not exactly what I thought influencers are, but going to like
That's what I thought.
yeah, I hadn't. Well, it's funny because I hadn't been to like a gym in years, right? I have like a gym at where workout at my at my work, you know. Then I signed up for this gym, and man, walking through the gym is hard with all these.
It's just all cameras.
It's all cell phones everywhere on the floor, filming these chicks do all their workouts. Man, there's so many girls.
Moto videos is what we call them in the military.
Yeah, moto video.
Yeah.
What girls you wouldn't even think that would want to be filmed doing the workouts? They're doing it too. I was like, okay, I guess.
I mean, it's the dudes as well. Like I see
the dudes.
Every day, man, I'm trying to do my chest day. It's a dude. It was one guy. He comes in, man. He sets up his whole studio.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm like, bro, come on.
Does 2 sets and then just sits on the machine.
Yeah, he does like 2 reps. Then he sets up his camera again. I'm like, bro, get the hell out of here. That's the world we live in, though, man.
It's for his OnlyFans account. Come on.
That's funny.
Oh, man, I have a funny off-air story about that. But yeah, go ahead.
Tell it on the air. You know how we do. Okay, so we touched on direct booking. So obviously everybody is so many people I talked to is afraid of doing direct bookings, right? Because they know that Airbnb is always going to be on your side and protect you 100%, right? And so wink wink. So how do you protect your properties insurance wise for direct bookings?
Yeah, I mean we have short-term rental insurance. A lot of our properties, crap, I forgot the name of it. Proper. We use Proper Insure. They're a little bit more expensive, but they'll insure the lost income of a property and blah blah blah. What I've realized though about, and I love this question because with the unique properties, we already talked about how much money they can make. Usually those I consider those like higher end properties where like you're charging anywhere between $200 to $800 a night. Those tend to push away a lot of the bad guests anyways. It's like you have a property like an A-frame that can bring in anywhere between $250 to $400 a night or $450 a night, and they're staying for 3 to 6 nights. Like that tends to deter a lot of the bad guests anyways that are just looking for a place to stay or maybe a roof over their heads while they party. But I mean, yeah, like you said, like having good insurance is key, like short-term rental insurance. What I also learned was State Farm started doing short-term rental insurance, and we're playing around with it right now. It's very similar policies compared to Proper Insurance, State Farm.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for a catastrophe to happen, I'm sure it's always good to have good insurance. But I mean, me and Mike could talk about on the show. We used to, for all of our houses that we own, we used to put what is it called? The
Noise aware.
Well, that too, but
American Home Shield.
American Home Shield. I'm sorry. The what are those called? Freaking, I forgot. It slipped my mind. What are those things called? Home warranty companies.
Oh, yeah. Home warranty. I know. Yeah.
Anyways, back in the olden days, they paid out pretty good. Whatever, something happened, you know, you got paid. Whatever, you paid a small fee, monthly fee. Then it just got to the point where I don't know if their computer system blackballs you for making too many claims or whatever. Right. Then it gets to the point where they just deny everything. And I know, and insurance companies are in it to make money. Home warranty is kind of like insurance, right? So we got rid of all those. But the thing is, I mean, as long as you're like you said, the prices are high. These are unique places. People are probably not going to destroy them, hopefully. But
if you're developing from ground up, you're most of the things in the house are also under warranty because they're brand new. Like 5 to 10 year warranties automatically.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And so So yeah, as long as you're stockpiling enough, to I guess do a self-insurance type deal, you're making a lot of money. And so you can
I've heard, I
yeah.
mean, we just toured a property that had 12 units. And I was like, what insurance company did you use? And he's like, we used Lloyd's of London, who use it, which is what Proper uses.
Mhm.
But they're like, we haven't been insured in a while, they said. They just like, and they had a house fire in one of their properties, but it was like, it was still cheaper to pay for that out of pocket than it was to pay the insurance.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
I
not
mean,
telling anyone to do that. That was just my
yeah.
experience with one of the hosts. I don't do that, but
And it just look what happens when in Florida gets wiped out. The insurance companies, what do they say? We ain't got it, man. Sorry, we can't pay
yeah,
for it.
sorry, everyone just filed a claim at the same day. Yeah.
Call the government. The
Yeah.
taxpayers will pay for it. So anyway, syndication, you touched on that too. There's so many things that you touched on. How did you get into syndication?
Yeah, I mean, I leaned very heavily on like multifamily books to figure that out. And what I realized was I did a big capital push at the beginning of this year. I hopped on a lot of multifamily podcasts, and the owner of the podcast knew that I was going to be pitching something at the end in terms of short-term rental partnerships or something. So I had enough people coming through my funnel for investors where I could do JV deals, individual JV deals with each one of them, where I guess you can consider that a syndication. I don't look at that as a syndication because I wasn't pooling multiple investors' capital. I was just doing like a straight 50-50 with some sort of management and some sort of equity tied into each one of them. And so my first 4 that I did were all joint partner deals where the one investor would bring up all the capital to the deal. And then they would help me guarantee the loan because I got to a point where I couldn't guarantee the loans by myself. So they'd be a personal guarantor on the loan with me. And then when I started doing the multifamily when I was pretty done with multifamily podcasts, what I realized was after I would hop off the podcast and like not hop off, but like we would stop recording, all these multifamily podcasts have their own fund. That's how a lot of times that's how they promote the fund, is through that. What I realized was like I had like 3 or 4 hosts of those funds that were running also their podcast. They would pitch their fund to me. Like they were multifamily funds, but multifamily was getting crushed. It's still getting crushed, but not as bad as like 6 months ago. Looking at like 2.5%, 5% cap rates. And they would pitch the fund to me. So I ended up teaming up with a fund out of Michigan. And we're just about to close our first deal where they raise all the capital. They handle all the investor relations. I am the operator and the deal finder, and I put the deal together. That's it. And I think I'm giving up more equity that way, but I'm also not. They help me guarantee the property. They're putting together all the investors. We're tied to our investors 8 to 10 years, like I said, depending on what the market is doing at that time, and they're going to be handling all the investor relations during that time. Where I can just focus on creating content like this, but also just focusing on finding deals and putting deals together. That's what I enjoyed doing. So that's been, I did the JV stuff. I was thinking about putting my own syndication fund together, but then I was like, let me just tap into someone who's been doing multifamily for 10, 15 years. Numbers are numbers at the end of the day. Returns, cash flows, preferred returns. It's just a number at the end of the day, no matter what real estate class you're in. So that's been my experience with syndications. I just decided to just integrate myself into a fund that's already doing real estate syndications.
That is cool, man. You find and you're doing the part that you like.
Yeah, I'm doing the part that I like, and then they have experience in that. They've been doing it 10, 15 years where I would just be starting out and making those mistakes like myself. Like they have the relationships. They've exited some of their partners already, so like their partners trust them more than if I was just coming in and talking to them cold.
Yeah. So how has the recession and the inflation been affecting this building business?
Ooh, that's why I wanted to go with that. Good job.
Yeah, I would say that it hasn't affected it as much as COVID did I mean, you're looking at labor costs that were absolutely ridiculous, and then same thing with like labor or like materials costs. Like contrary to popular belief, like labor costs and materials costs are going down right now because we are in a recession. The economy is receding, which makes things cheaper. That's the whole point of doing all like increasing interest rates. But like, I mean, we're also the two BiggerPockets articles ago, I wrote a specific topic on that where just because we're going through a recession does not mean you should stop investing in real estate. Like like you said before we hopped on, like you should be investing in any type of market. So what I said in that blog post was, no matter what interest rates are doing, you need to be underwriting the deal. Underwrite the deal and look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. Underwrite it the same way you would have in the best market we've ever seen compared to now where we're at. Like, I just got a term sheet for 6 cabins we're building, and the interest rate was 8.5%, which hurts. That hurts when you see that. But the numbers and the lender was still comfortable going forward. It's fixed rate debt. It's not even adjustable rate debt. So they were comfortable. I talked to my investor this morning about it. Like, we were comfortable moving forward because the investors are still going to make their money on it. So when it comes to the recession, it's like, my very first mentor had said, just avoid the news completely. If the news is important enough, someone is going to tell you about it. And that's sort of what I stick to, is if the news is important enough, someone's going to tell you about it. I'm still looking at properties. If the numbers work for my investors and if the numbers work for me, I'm still going through with it. You might have to get a little bit more creative on the structure, like who gets what. But at the end of the day, like, things are on sale right now. Like, it's that simple. And on the development side, people are, instead of us trying to hunt down people like tradesmen for them to work for us, now they're calling us because, like, again, like the people aren't building as much now on the custom side and stuff.
Yeah, I'm loving the fact that the material costs are going down. That's definitely helping me. So I'm fully with you right there.
I'm going to say this: they will never go back to where they were prior to COVID, but for sure they're going down.
Yeah.
At least now you're operating with knowing that, compared to like when we had a couple budgets that were caught in between COVID and not COVID that we had to restructure and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, there should be no reason why you're not investing right now. Do not discredit investing completely. It's like what Robert Kiyosaki says, like, everything's on sale at the market, in the market. Like, if you were going to the grocery store and something that you wanted was on sale, you would purchase it immediately. What's the difference here with real estate?
Another thing I will say too, like, some people make money off fear. So they'll say, hey, the world's coming down, crashing. Always look at who that person is. I think someone said, I think Warren Buffett makes a lot of money off fear. So,
I mean, he made the bulk of his money in 2008 and 9.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, certain things he says, you know, but he'll make a lot of money off of it. So, yeah, invest. That's what I tell people as well, man.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm writing a BiggerPockets article right now, and I have a feeling it's not going to be there's going to be a lot of hate coming my way towards that, but it's essentially what I just said about, like, you need to, exactly what you just said too. Like, there's a lot of fear mongering out there because people are in positions where they're investing in a certain way. And if they have the platform to talk negatively, we're in a recession and blah, 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 their portfolios are going to benefit because of that. And I wish more and more people understood that. That you need to be very careful of who you're listening to, because those people might have a position in something. If they're big enough to be on CNN, Fox, whatever, or like a big podcast, they probably have some sort of position or play in the market, and they're just trying to influence that.
That's exactly. Have you ever met someone who said, I bought a house 10 years ago? That was the biggest mistake of my life.
Right. Right.
Exactly. So, yeah.
I never even thought of that. That's a good angle to take on the article, saying they're out there saying don't buy it, now is a terrible time, all these bad articles, and they're over there in the background buying as much as they freaking can.
Yeah, right. I've seen it on the short-term rental side, man. I'm not going to name names, but it's like I've seen people talk about, like, oh, there's like an influx in inventory and blah, 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 and it's not a good time to invest, but like, they're a short-term rental investor. Why would you be talking about that if you're on the podcast on this massive platform? I'm just saying. So that's what the whole the article I'm writing right now is all about. It's gonna be fun.
And that's what doesn't make sense to me either, right? People saying, oh, you know, over inflation, you know, there's too many people doing Airbnb or short-term rentals, whatever. But at the same time, you know, it's funny because I work at this at a job where, you know, it's mixed, you know, a lot of middle-aged, and then there's a lot of older people there, and all the older people, like a couple years ago, older people didn't even know what the hell Airbnb was. Now they all use it, and most of them, that's all they use when they travel now. So I'm like, well, there's stuff going on. Yes, there's more people doing Airbnbs.
Yeah, but then Airbnb's still adding market share. And then not just Airbnb, like Vrbo as well, booking.com. People, I think if you have a hotel room and a house and they're priced similarly, people are going to choose the house all day, or at least like the cabins we're developing. That's my thing on that.
Yeah. So yeah, more people. Yeah, there's more people supply. You know, there's more supply, but there's more demand every single freaking year, right?
Right.
And the old people figured out how to put the app on their phones, and that's that's
yeah, right.
and that is pretty cool. And a lot of them are doing Airbnbs, and now we're managing for these older people, older generation. Like, oh wow, you can manage it for me, young man. Anyways, so yeah, the fear. And what's beautiful too, on our end, I'm not building them, but I go shopping right now, and I go every week. I'm going looking at houses, and I get the whole hour to myself. There's not someone waiting for us.
There's open houses happening now compared to 6 months ago, where like it's not normal for a property to get 30 offers in the first day. Like, I wish people understood that.
The best and last highest offer by 5 p.m. What the?
Yeah, you're like, you just listed it 2 hours ago. Like,
that's how it was when interest rates were low. That's how it was. Now they're high, and people are complaining, I can't buy now because they're high. Well, now you can buy. Now there's less competition.
I don't know if it directly correlates between interest rates and prices dropping, but just ask a real estate agent in your market. Is it still people, like, there's still a good amount of inventory out there, like, for people to purchase. It's just getting back to where it was, say, like in 2015 and 16, where it takes some time to sell the property. I don't think 2008 or 9 will ever happen again in terms of the real estate. There's always some sort of like economic vehicle that causes it. It was just mortgage-backed securities back in 2008 and 9. Prior to that, it was like the dot-com crash in the 2000s. Prior to that, it was like the savings and loans in the 80s. There's always something, but I don't see real estate taking the crash that it did. Like I grew up in Detroit, like property values losing 50-60% of their property values. I don't see that happening again, because back in the day, you could walk into a bank, lie about your income, and get a loan. That was what caused that. You can't do that anymore, at least like to the point of like 2008 and 9, you can't.
Yeah, it was predatory lending. That's like so many things in place, so that can't happen again. So yeah, like right now, I mean, you're in a buyer's market. You can go out there and get a good ass deal. You know what I mean? So stuff's sitting, like this house around the corner from me. I don't know if anyone wants to buy it, because like if it's right in front of a school, and like if school days, you can't back out of your house. But what I'm saying, it's just sitting there, and it's sitting there with a for sale sign. If you want to go make it, I don't know if you want to make it a short-term rental, you'll get a lot of complaints, but you can get a good deal out here. People go get a good deal. You're in a buyer's market.
And you know what's exactly, it's a buyer's market. Like use that word, like it's a buyer's market. You are not a seller if you're trying to get into the real estate market right now. It is a buyer's market. You are a buyer. I just wish more people understood that, but it goes back to the fear thing. Like, people are just scared because he's just constantly seeing stuff on the news. So
real quick, is Detroit making a comeback?
Oh yeah, man. If you go down like downtown, not a lot of people know that like the Ilitch family owns Little Caesars, but they purchased like city blocks in 2008 and 9. And it's like all of that's like, if you go to downtown Detroit's beautiful. Don't go to the suburbs, but like downtown Detroit's beautiful. And there's left and right like skyscraper development happening. It's really fun to see that. I wish I would have bought townhouses back in 2007, even 17, because now they're like tripled, quadrupled in value.
Damn.
Funny, I just got back from Detroit, and the event we went to was downtown. The event downtown, I'm like, damn, this is a nice ass city.
Brand new stadium, everything. Yeah.
It's a totally different mindset. But then but we stayed in the suburbs, stuff shuts down at 10 o'clock. Yeah. But the townhomes, there were short-term rentals. The townhomes were beautiful that we stayed in. But you go down the street, some of it's still abandoned. So they still are trying to get back up. Because a lot of it's
but like downtown itself is thriving. There's 3 casinos. One of them is MGM Grand. There's left and right development everywhere happening up there. Like, and now I'm not just talking about little houses, like full-blown skyscrapers and everything.
Yeah, and they even got like the dispensary money out there now.
Yeah, man, huge, dude. I have a lot of family in that world. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, man. Yeah. Because I've seen the dispensary stuff. Yeah, Detroit definitely has opportunity.
Yeah.
It's funny. I always bring it up, but like we have a friend in Denver, and whenever they got the marijuana tourism and all that stuff, and we asked them on the show, you and your wife partake, because they have like a basement thing where they did Airbnb, and because yeah.
The writer for Bigger Pockets, by the way.
The writer for he was on our show. He admitted it. You want to say their name? That's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying their name. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so he's like, I was like, "Whoa, okay." So you hit up the dispensaries to get your stuff. He goes, "Man, since we've been doing Airbnb, we had never have to buy anything ever again because these people come to town with big eyeballs and then buying all these things, buying giant candy bars." He goes, "They ate like 5 bites off a candy bar and they're done for the whole weekend." He goes, "They just end up leaving piles of stuff at our place."
Yeah, it is true.
I never even thought about it like that. That's funny.
Yeah. When I was in Detroit, I'm pretty sure our Airbnb hosts were satisfied with our left behinds, but it happened, you know.
Man, yeah, Little Caesars. Little Caesars hit me up.
Yeah, the Little Caesars arena, they just built that. So you have like, I mean, I didn't talk about Detroit here, but like you have literally the Lions Stadium, Ford Field, and then you have Comerica Park, like a baseball throw across the street. And then across the highway, which is right across the street, is the LCA Little Caesars Arena. So you have literally 3 stadiums within like quarter mile of each other. It's crazy.
That's how you should build a city. But these freaks over here, man, they got to spread out over the metroplex.
And then inside of that, there's 3 big casinos as well. Like within that, like maybe like 2 or 3 mile range and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah.
You heard it here. Detroit's making a comeback. Invest in Detroit.
Look at, I mean, if you guys people who are listening about Detroit, if you guys are numbers people, just look at the unemployment rates. Like they were at like 12%, but now it's like, if you look at it now and you don't have any basis, like, okay, you look at it and you're like, okay, 6-7%, interest rate, unemployment rate. Like if you looked at it during 2008 and 9, it was ridiculous. And then even 2017, you're looking at like an 8 to 11% unemployment rate, but now it's like 7 to 8%. But you need to look at the whole thing, like, because if you compared that to like the national average, it's trash, but it's getting better. It's like cut in half since like 6-7 years ago.
Wow. Like what they say with statistics, you know, because it's the way you read them. But I heard a cool quote on statistics. It's a group of numbers out looking for a fight. And so any argument you want to make, oh, look at it, 7-8%, they're garbage, like you said, they're trash. But no, look at it like this. They're recovering from 12%.
The entire average the last 15 years. Yeah.
Exactly. Man, been a good show, huh, Myka?
Yeah, man, this is really good. I love the fact that you are building the short-term rentals. That you're the first person I think that came on and said you're actually building them in a development phase, man. That is awesome. If there's
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's been a fun roller coaster the last like 5-6 years, but it's good. It's getting really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's anything you need help with us from, I'll reach out. I'll try our best to help you out, man, because that's a really cool thing that you're doing.
Yeah, brother. Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Can you do any street magic?
No, man. All my stuff's in the other room right now. But you're like the second or third person who's asked me about that. I've done like 3 or 4 podcasts the last couple of months, and I was like, I don't know, that always gets brought up. Can you do some magic for us right now? Yeah, I need to like keep a deck of cards around me or something.
yeah, you definitely got to do that, man.
That's a good way to break the ice with a potential seller, you know.
It's a cool networking thing too. Like I was just at the ClickFunnels event, and there was like an after party that I was at the ClickFunnels event, and we're just doing magic tricks to people with like 7, 8, 9-figure earners and stuff.
Oh wow, yeah, you got like a David Blaine vibe to you.
Oh, thanks, man. I look like him too with my hair.
Well, cool,
my
brother.
Receding hairline.
Well, thanks for hopping on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, man. If you guys are interested in what I do, we already mentioned BiggerPockets. You guys can check me out there. I'm pretty active in the comment section. And then I have a YouTube channel as well. It's called Alex Builds. Sort of just details what I work on a daily basis. It got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to bring a camera to me. I'm already visiting the sites. Might as well just talk about it instead of thinking of it. And then I just put together a short-term rental development course. So like I essentially sat down and I was like, okay, what's the course that you wish you had when you first started? And I just outlined a course. Took me like 6 to 8 months to put together. It's like 120 videos. There's some group coaching in there. There's some templates, workbooks, everything that you need to essentially do what I do. And that's at my personal website, which is alexjarbo.com.
Sweet. Any more questions for Alex Jarbo, Myka?
That is good, man. I don't have anything, and I will want to tell you, man, thank you for coming on.
Man, thanks for having me on. I love these like longer podcasts. We've been riffing for like over an hour, which I love.
Yeah.
Oh, Myka did have a question. Why is there no good food in Detroit?
What?
I didn't say no good food. I said, why does the food shut down so early?
Yeah.
10 o'clock. I'm like, man, ain't no food. I mean, you got this dispensary over there. People,
There's a lost opportunity there. That's funny.
I mean, hey, you got to stop partaking at about 6 o'clock, or else you. But yeah, man.
My wife's gonna love this podcast when it comes out.
His wife,
because she's like, "What'd you guys talk about?" I'm like, "Detroit," like for most of it.
I do like the Detroit style pizza. That's bomb.
Oh yeah, you guys do have some good pizza. I forgot the neighborhood we went to, and it was some damn good pizza. I forgot the neighborhood, but yeah, you guys do have good pizza.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hopping on, man. Man. Hopefully see you again in the future.
For sure.
All right.
Later.
All right, man. That was a great episode with Alex Jarbo. Is it Jarbo or Yarbo?
Jarbo. I think
Jarbo. Yeah, it was a really good episode, man. I love the fact that he's developing. That's a new one. Like when you actually develop them yourself, you have so much opportunity of like creating something unique, and doing the A-frames, and then he's doing the cabins, then he's looking to do the tree houses. That's pretty dope, man. I like that idea.
And there's no excuses, man, because he said like he couldn't get anybody he couldn't, sell him anything, right? So he said, well, shit, I'm just gonna build my own shit, and he did. It's like, it is so much of this industry is jump out the plane, build the parachute on the way down, right?
That is, man.
And that's just how it is, and the people that take risks are going to be successful.
Yeah,
if they just keep at it and minimize the risk. Hey, if it don't rent well as a short-term rental, I can rent it long-term or sell the damn thing. And yeah, bread and butter. I go back to this on my show. A buddy of mine got into real estate a few years back and lost quite a bit of money because he tried to hit 2 home runs right away. Never done real estate in his life. Tried to buy big old, McMansion type deals. And anyways, he made every mistake in the book. But he says it himself, if he would have started with the 1,500 square foot 3.2s, even if he fucked up, he could still sell those like hotcakes every single day in any market. They're great. Starter homes are always in demand. So, so don't be afraid. Take risks, take calculated risk, and you're gonna end up, learning a bunch of stuff, and you're gonna end up making some money.
Yeah, and another thing you just said is very important is, man, start small. Don't try to go into this big home run shit. Just start small. All you need is one small little 1,500 square footer, and then compound off that. Then once you learn that, you can go into the multifamilies. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm just waiting I'm eventually going to go to multifamilies and going to go to vacation rentals. But right now I'm compounding off what I know so I can expert at that. Basically you always have that in your back pocket, and then you can grow into other areas, man. You can always start.
Yeah. But one thing I'll share real quick, because I'm kind of proud of this, and it might come to fruition. It's getting close. It seems like it's gonna come to fruition. It might not, whatever. But so this house in the Grand Prairie, I ended up getting to talk to the owner, and we've been going back and forth. They like my idea of doing the arbitrage thing, and the rent was a little higher. I got him to knock it down a little bit. I got to knock it down the down, what's it called, the deposit. I got him to move let him do the last months or whatever, stuff like that. I got a lot of things, and then we negotiated and got it to a good price. But while we were getting towards the end of the negotiations, something came up on one of the listing platforms, right? And someone was looking for a place for 3 months in Grand Prairie, and they want to be in that same exact area that this house is at, right? And also it said they want it unfurnished, and I was like, what do they want it unfurnished? And I was like, that's interesting. And so I called the person. I said, hey, I got this house, blah blah blah. I acted like I already had the house. I don't have it yet, right? But then they said, okay, yeah, when can she see it? It sounds good. Everything is checking off all the boxes. The pictures look great. I said, why do y'all do unfurnished? They go, oh, okay, it's because we furnish it for the clients. That's how they make their extra bit of money, right? But okay, so I said, yeah. I said, so y'all are gonna go in there and furnish the damn thing for me? He goes, yeah. I said, TVs and everything. Yeah, we put everything in there. I was like, oh, what happens when they leave? Oh, we take it all out. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna get into this house, right? At let's say $2,200 a month. I'm gonna rent this beautiful house for, and these people are gonna come in and pay me $3,500 a month. They want it unfurnished. Day one, I don't have to put a stitch of furniture in this mother lover, and I'm gonna be making that much profit.
Did you find out what industry they're in?
These people? No, I didn't find out.
Find that out. Just be like, hey, just curious, what industry are you guys in? And
Okay.
then you can kind of see like, okay, if you're paying $3,500 unfurnished, who's the guy behind you? Maybe he's insurance or something. Yeah, find that out. That's a good opportunity, bro. Yeah, find out, like, hey, so you want this unfurnished? What industry are you in? Yeah, just kind of find that out.
Well, yeah. Well, the people renting it, they don't want it unfurnished. It's the provider, the insurance, the place that works with the insurance companies. That's part of their spiel. So they find a place unfurnished for these people, and they furnish it, so they get paid for the furnishing part of it.
Correct. So find out who they are.
Yeah.
And then you can, because hey, think about it. That's the opportunity. Hey, you can go find them unfurnished. You'll be like, hey, I got a client. I'm serious. Like now you're calling, now you're calling unfurnished people. Like, hey man, I got a client. I'll give you. Hey, you want 2,200? Hey, I'll give you 2,500. You take your 3,500. Let them come in and furnish it. You take it, walk the hell out.
Hell, dude. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on, who's behind them? I'm like, if you just want to, yeah, man, that's an opportunity, man. Take advantage of that.
Sweet. So yeah, thank you for all y'all for listening to our little show here. That's getting, a little popular. Live Let Thrive. Find us at liveletthrive.com, liveletthrive@gmail.com. My company, Argest Rentals, ARGEST Rentals. Argest is the largest. We'll manage for you, make you some money. And Myka.
Yeah. If y'all have anything that is not for sale, if you have anything in the DFW area, tore down houses, crack houses, trap houses, houses that your grandma holding on to and she needs to get rid of, your aunt's holding on to, holler at me or Mahogany. Hit us up on Instagram. Hit Mahogany up on Instagram, actually. And we'll see what we can do for you. And thank you for continuing to be a loyal listener of Live Let Thrive. Go ahead, Steve.
Real quick, you haven't bought Myka Buys Houses yet? You haven't bought that website?
No, not yet.
Oh, man, buy it.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
$5.
Oh, speaking of that, a quick tip to everyone. If you really want to really set yourself up, just a quick tip. Buy your first and last name.com and your kids' first and last name.com and hold that shit. Just a tip. So I'm happy you brought that up. Just a tip. Always buy that.
And why is that?
Just if they ever want to do something, they always have that in the bank. If they want to be some type of influencer, it's in the bank. They got it. But yeah, also, thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. We appreciate all the love, support. Sorry, the YouTube videos were coming out slow, but we got them back on track. And make sure you go check out the old episodes and hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. If you leave us a review, we will shout you on the podcast, even if you leave us a bad one. I know one person said we talk about coffee too much, which I was like, what the hell?
That was a long time ago.
Hey, while I'm drinking my Starbucks. But but anyways, give us a good review. And thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. It's been a fun 5 years, I think, and we're going to keep cranking them out.
Let's go.
LLT out.
Peace.
Later.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.